So the first example we're going to go through is an example of a cash secured put. I'm going to flip the screen share. So you're going to see exactly what I see. And we're going to be using the Robinhood platform. So I use that platform because I believe that it is the simplest platform for people to learn on. Not my favorite platform. People have their own issues with it. But from a simplicity standpoint, it's a good thing. Your money's insured there. So from a standpoint of you're just learning, it's a great place to be. So let's go ahead and flip the screen share and jump over to Robinhood. And we're going to go through an example here. So we're looking at Tesla, $142 a share. Obviously, this is going to be a bit of a bigger example because if you go back to the first video that I posted in this series, we're going to look at a cash secured put. And a cash secured put is an agreement to buy 100 shares at a price that you agree upon. So to buy 100 shares of Tesla at its current price is a little over $14,000 that you'd have to put up. So obviously, not every example is this drastic. There are much smaller size stocks that you can do this with. But once again, this is just an example. So pay attention more to the content and how it works, as opposed to paying attention to the price of the stock and things of that nature. So in order to get started, you have your options chain, which is here, the trade Tesla option button. We're going to click on that. The first thing that you want to do is you do want to make sure your designations are correct. So you go up here, you go to sell and put. So generally speaking, I mostly do 1 week contracts. So the expiration, January 27th. Well, as I filmed this, it's January 25th. So I want to go ahead and bump it out. Once we get down to 2 business days, 3 business days, I go ahead and roll it out for the next week so that we can have maybe a 7 or 8 business day contract. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to go ahead and bump it February 3rd, and we're going to scroll down to current price. So with Robinhood, how you want to approach this is when you are doing cash secured puts, you want to buy it for a cheaper price than it is today. So you only want to enter into contracts at a cheaper rate than today's rate. So essentially what we're doing is on February 3rd, let's say we enter into, let's just scroll down here because I like to be conservative. Not everybody's as conservative as I am. But obviously, the further away you get from current price, the more conservative you are being. So let's say I enter into a contract at $130 per share. So that would essentially mean that I'm putting up $13,000 of collateral. And that collateral would be used to buy my 100 shares. And essentially on February 3rd, if the stock finishes below $130 per share, then you are going to buy this stock for $130 per share. Doesn't matter if it finishes at 129 or 119 or 0. You're going to buy that stock for $130 per share. So obviously that can be a little worrisome. You say, well, what if the stock goes down a lot? It's a real concern. So we got to make sure that we're picking good stocks and good businesses at fair values. And I do think this applies to Tesla here. Tesla was a $300 stock 4 months ago. It's really sold off hard. It's cheap comparatively speaking to how it's been valued over the past few years. So I think mid to long term, if we got shares here, we'd be okay. So keep that in mind, and we'll do a little bit more into that in another video. But essentially, what we're going to be doing is if it stays above this price on February 3rd, then we just get our cash back. And just to be clear, the cash never actually leaves your account. They just restrict that amount of cash within your account so that you can't withdraw it while you're in a contract. So just keep that in mind. But it's never actually taken from you or anything like that. So the second you enter into this contract, you're going to collect $3.20 per share. So remember, this is on a 100 share basis. So you're going to collect $320 for entering into this contract. When you do the quick math on that, and if you want to know the formula, it is bid price divided by strike price. So if I pull out my phone and I do 3.20 divided by 130, I see that over the course of what would essentially be 8 business days, I'm going to get a 2.4% return on my money. That's really good. If you can return that in 8 business days, it's fantastic. So that is kind of what we're looking to do, is just compound these subtle returns on a weekly basis. It's a lot of power in compounding, a lot of power in doing this. So, but let's finish out the example. We bought this, or we agreed to buy a stock at 130, that we decide this is the contract we want to be. I like to be around the 75 to 80% chance of profit. That's where I feel comfortable. That gives me a lot of room. So as you see, the chance of profit here is 77%. So it's kind of right where I want to be. To actually get this order through, what I would do is I would actually click on this contract. It's going to bring it up. I'm going to click on continue. I'm going to designate one contract because I only want to do this once. If you designate 2 contracts, you're going to be putting up twice the collateral, and so on. So one contract, I'm going to put in the bid price at 3.20. And so you see the little bid here. I like to enter into the bid just to make sure that it goes through immediately. Good for day is going to be your default. That's fine. And then you're going to review and submit order. I'm not going to actually run this order through right now because it's just an example. So then once I click on submit order, I should get a 1-of-1 screen to show me that that order has filled. That contract will then show up on the home page of your options account or your investing account. And it's now recognizable that $320 will also instantly be in your account. So all great things. The only thing to note is that to every credit, there's a debit, just like in basic accounting. So that $320 is going to be in your account, the cash, but there's going to be a negative number enter into there. So a minus 320 that represents this contract. So this contract will be represented by a negative number until it goes away on February 3rd. So on February 3rd, when it disappears, then the full scope of the $320 you collected will be revealed in your portfolio. So just to put some clean numbers to that, if you have $15,000 in your portfolio and you enter into this contract, you would expect to immediately see $15,320. It's not going to be the case immediately. We kind of have to wait till February 3rd to see that fully revealed. The cash is in there. It's yours to use. It's just offset by a negative number that's not going to be removed until this contract expires. So keep that in mind. You will see the accurate number as you get closer to its expiration date. So that's a quick example on a cash secured put, the theory and what we're trying to do, how it works. We're going to look at a covered call next.